Welcome back. This is part 2 of our video entitled, How Does This Vote Affect You? It is also our last video in the series talking about your pension. If you haven't already, please watch part 1 of this video explaining how this vote came about. We will now explore what would happen should this vote pass or fail. So what if both of these options fail? What happens then? Essentially, nothing changes. Under the normal retirement, you could still get 57.5% of your base salary after working 25 years and age 55. You would still be vested after 5 years. We would still have the tiered multiplier, which allows you to accrue a 2% service credit for the first 10 years and 2.5% for each year thereafter. Cost of living adjustments would continue down the same road we are currently on, which in the short term would be about 0.63%, and in the long term would increase towards 1.13% should the plan not face any more stressors. We would continue to ride the market roller coaster with good years and bad, gains and losses, but with smaller cost of living adjustments and less of a rainy day fund. But some big questions remain. What will the stock market do over the next 5, 10, 15 years? What will inflation look like in the future? Will the U.S. economy fix its massive debt and deficit problem anytime soon? How does that relate to our pension, good or bad? Will the plan be able to weather another large market downturn like 2008? Do you believe we can make up the losses from 2008 without additional funding? Are you willing to accept our current situation having about a 10-point surplus? Are you willing to have the board potentially make unilateral decisions to protect our pension should there be an unfunded liability in the future? What would that decision look like in terms of benefit reductions? What does your own personal risk tolerance look like with other investments you may have? All of these are personal questions only you can answer. The committee strongly encourages that you talk to a financial advisor, as we cannot answer these questions for you. As a member of this plan, your financial future is impacted by this vote whether it passes or fails. The FPPA has built a website dedicated to this election. An interactive calculator is available on the FPPA Election Central website to help provide you with information on how this will impact you personally. You can also go to the local 858 website, to the Pension Committee tab, and be directed from there. When we talk about funded status, we are talking about how much money is in the plan compared to how much in benefits it has to pay out. As we currently sit, we are 97.9% funded. As stated previously, our pension only has about a 10-point surplus before those safeguards have to be enacted. Should the original ballot option of 4% pass, our fund's surplus would then grow by over 35 points, lowering the safeguard figure to around 62%. Should the contingent proposal of 2% pass, our surplus would grow by about 23 points, lowering the safeguard figure closer to 75%. These are approximate numbers, since exact funding levels can fluctuate with market conditions year to year. With the increased funding, there could also be the possibility of future SRA allocations. But remember, once money is taken out of the actuarial account and moved to your SRA, it takes an unfunded liability to pull that money out. This is why the board typically leaves the money in the actuarial account for easier access in case of an emergency. Also note that the stabilization reserve account only has about $88 million worth of assets in it, which sounds like a lot, but when compared to the actuarial account with over $1 billion in assets and liabilities, is a relatively small amount. It would most likely have to be used in conjunction with other safeguards to overcome any significant unfunded liability down the road. Now that you have an understanding of this vote, let's see how someone would benefit. Uncle Pennybags is 39 years old and has been on the job for 15 years. He is currently making firefighter first grade wages of $74,018 and has about a $10,000 SRA. He will need to work about 16 more years to get to 31 years of service and age 55. His normal payment option multiplier would be 72.5%. Remember, this is the multiplier that all of his other options are based off should he choose a survivorship option. Using the original 4% proposal, Uncle Pennybags' contribution would increase by $15 per pay period in 2015. By 2016, it would be $30. And by 2022, the end of the 8-year build-out period, he would be paying an additional $133 per pay period. Then in 2029, his last year of work, he will be paying an additional $153 per pay period. By his retirement in 2030, he will have paid an additional $41,222 over his previous 16 years. Using Uncle Pennybags' normal payment option multiplier of 72.5, he will get $6,169 per month in his first year of retirement. If the 4% option passes, once he starts receiving a cost of living adjustment in his second year of retirement, he will get an additional $71 a month over the option failing. That's an increase of 1.18%, or an additional $852 in his first year of cost of living adjustments. In just under 10 years of retirement, Uncle Pennybags breaks even. This means that all of the additional money that he paid in over his remaining 16 years of work would be paid back in just under 10 years. He would have received an additional $41,713 worth of cost of living adjustments than if the 4% option had failed. After 25 years of retirement, he would be up to about a 2.4% cost of living adjustment. This is pretty close to the 2.39% cost of living adjustment average of the last 33 years from today. He would have accumulated over $334,799 in additional benefits. By year 2059, he would have made an additional $518,955 in retirement than if the 4% option had failed. Should the 2% option pass, he would make an additional $265,746. Remember that cost of living adjustments are payable to your drop account, so in this example, if Uncle Pennybags dropped at age 55 and stayed until age 60, his break-even point would only be 5 years later. This is just one example of how someone could benefit from this vote. All of these figures are based off of the plan's ability to make its actuarial assumptions and not experience another major market crash. Even if the vote passes, if we were to experience another catastrophic market crash before the complete build-out period is over, all of these figures could change. The additional funding would soften the blow, potentially warding off the need to enact safeguards. This is no different than trying to add money back to your own personal rainy day account after fixing your car, only to have your water heater go out before you can replace all of your savings. The thing that sets our plan apart from that, however, is the investment risk is shared by over 6,000 people in the plan, not just on your own, making emergencies more manageable. Thank you for taking the time to join us in our journey into your pension. We hope after the series of videos you have a better understanding of not only how your pension works, but why this proposal is before you. Remember, it is not the committee's intention to tell you how to vote. Our task was solely to bring you the facts. We hope we have answered all of your questions and given you a few points to ponder. Having an understanding of how the broader market influences your pension will greatly give you a leg up in your retirement planning. Remember, you must participate in a statewide defined benefit plan. To compare our plan to something like a 457 plan or an IRA as apples and oranges, they are completely different by design. That said, you are always encouraged to take additional steps to secure your financial future, and having other investments is always a good idea. Diversity is the key to financial success. The committee has always encouraged everyone to talk to a financial advisor, as everyone's financial situation is different. In closing, the FPPA is offering the membership an opportunity to take a proactive approach to protect the largest asset most people will have, their retirement plan. We would like to thank the FPPA Board of Directors, staff, and the actuary for providing us with the most accurate information and comments regarding these presentations. And a very big thank you goes out to the members of Local 858 Pension Committee for all of their hard work and dedication over these last few months. Now get out there and vote. Your financial future depends on it.